This is the first game of a 4-game series, and one that really the Rox need to go out and keep winning. It's very tough for them to do this when they know that everything is pretty much out of their hands. There'll be a lot of scoreboard watching tonight.
2-0 pitch. Swung on, fly ball, shallow left field, coming on Arroyo, drops in front of him, another base hit. 5 consecutive singles by the Black Bears. It is 3-0. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, line drive left field, and another base hit will score yet another run for the Black Bears. Mark Burnett just drops one in front of Arroyo at left field. And it's nothing Arroyo could do. I mean, he could come in and play right behind Bustos, but he's not playing that deep of the left field. They're just little flares that are dropping in front of us. It is 4-0. I cannot remember a ball game in which the Rox have fallen behind this far, this fast.
Those of you who were listening to the game last night, that first inning, which literally blew the game apart, you're talking about a kid, Salvador, has done a great job with us. I thought going into tonight should be 4-0. Comes in and gives up 7 hits and 8 hitters, 3 ground ball singles, 3 bloops. That doesn't mean there wasn't one hit right in the middle. It was halfway decent, but you're talking about 6 out of 7 balls that are good pitches, that are getting something done, and it didn't happen. It's a wonderful game. It'll humiliate you sometime and humble you a lot of times.
So that last voice you heard was that of Rox manager Ed Nottle from a tape that I just recently discovered. I didn't know I had any of the Saturday Rox with Ed Nottle shows, and finding this, well, it was like striking gold. I've said this before. Over the course of my broadcasting career, I have interviewed and talked with many managers and coaches, many of them famous, but none have been more entertaining than Ed Nottle. We recorded his weekly shows at WBET radio studios in Brockton when we were home, and on the road it was usually in his hotel room. Ed would forget this show all the time, even though we did it every single week. I would get to the station, no Ed, I would call him and remind him. But once we turned on the mic, it was usually well worth the wait. I was going to devote this episode to the final Rox series in Berkshire, but when I found this tape, the plan changed. Now, this tape includes the show that we recorded after that crazy Quebec-New Jersey road trip on August 23rd, and the show on August 30th that we did prior to Game 2 of the final series in Berkshire. The shows are too long to present in their entirety, so I've trimmed them down considerably, but I think you're really going to enjoy hearing from the man who was Brockton baseball.
The neat part about being in pennant races is the last 12, 15 days are like playoff games. And you have that kind of atmosphere. And this is a good bunch of guys, Larry. I'm serious. They like to play. They've gotten along together. There's been, when you live together and day in and day out and travel together and room together and eat together and have a cold one together, that can get old after a while. And this group has stayed together. They're a great bunch of guys, and they're all excited, and they're ready to play. And just like last night, the darkest cloud I've ever seen in my life comes over the stadium. Everybody expecting a giant storm. We still get 4,000 people. So the fans have been doing it all year. And I can't tell you fans how much our club, including me and the coaches and Larry and everybody else, talk about getting back home, getting back to Brockton, because it's not that way in a lot of these other places.
A lot of your fans send in questions for Ed Nottle on our website. Very easy to do. Just go to BrocktonRox.com. Look for the little icon that says Ask Ed. Click on it and submit your question. And we ask those of Ed without him having even seen these questions. Claudia is a big-time Rox fan. In fact, her last name is Rox.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. She asks, I wonder if you have ever seen umpire discipline during your career. After the events up in Quebec, I contacted the chief of umpires inquiring about policies. He gave me a bit of a brush-off reply and instead directed me to some tourist spots in Quebec. Perhaps he thought I was umpire bashing, but I was really just curious what kind of rules are in place. Is that anything you're familiar with?
Well, they do have a supervisor, and I'm not sitting here bashing umpires. There's some good ones in this league. I think you have to understand, I think I've talked about it before, until this league connects with the Major League Association and has scouts from there, where these guys umpiring have a chance, where the top 2 or 3 of them have an opportunity to get into organized ball and therefore have an opportunity to get in the big leagues. Until that takes place, there's going to be these chips on their shoulders. They don't have anything to gain. They listen to the veterans in our league. Absolutely cause more problem with umpires than umpires do, because they get on them. Every bang play, everything that's close, and they get tired of it. You don't get as tired as if you had some goal to reach for. They and old man Nottle are the only people I know in this league that have no chance of going to the big leagues.
I have some questions that were sent in from some youngsters. Aaron from Sharon.
Oh, I like that.
Says, what happened to Nestor Smith?
Once was an Aaron from Sharon. Go ahead, I won't go on with that one either.
We'll just go right on along here. Aaron from Sharon says, what happened to Nestor Smith? And also she asks, do you need any new ball people?
As far as what happened to Nestor Smith, it almost correlates with what the second question is. Nestor Smith had a groin injury pretty bad earlier in the year. And he worked his way through that and very intelligently played the game of baseball under his own and my knowledge of he can only go so hard. I wouldn't send him around in third on a single to left, that type of thing. And he is re-injured a little worse, I think, than it was. So that's his situation. And the second question, those things are usually set up through the front office. Well, I meet a lot of people in my life. A lot of them talk to me about their grandkids and the kids I meet in school, and they all want to. And I purposely have nothing to do with it, because I do know a lot of children, and I don't want to try to do something for one and not the other. So I kind of stay away from that. But if you contact the office, 559-7000, in the off season, believe me, they'll be letting you know exactly how you go about something like that.
Jody from Brockton writes in about the releasing of players near the end of the season and wonders what the impact is of a team's ability to work together as a team.
When you get to that point of the season, anybody can get on anybody's nerves, believe me. And sometimes you do. But when you're talking about adding to your club, number one, you're talking about who can bring something to my club. Managers are paid to handle the problems that arise. It's about the only thing we can do. We don't hit, we don't throw, we don't run. Give me the talent first, and then I'll worry if we can fit them into the mold. And there's people in the Hall of Fame that never fit into anybody's mold. It's 20. You give me 22 doctors, radio announcers, dish diggers, 22 ball players. I'll show you the same amount of problems and non-problems. There's some nights I think managers get in the way, but in general, I think that's why managers are paid.
Joey Baker had been going through such a rough stretch for a while, and you were hoping that he would come out and give you a big game night before last, and he sure did.
Well, that was a huge game by Joey, but we've said it all along. Joey's given us in the last 2 years a lot of big games. This year especially, early in the season, we went through some tough times, and boom, Joey Baker came in twice in a row and shut somebody down and did a job for us. So I have a lot of faith in Joey. Joey's got a lot of heart. I'm sure he's a little tired. I think Joey's been out of sync. I really do. I think he's been out of sync both body-wise and fluid-wise, and which is what it takes to pitch. And I'm not sure if he's been in sync with his catcher, where they're thinking along the same lines. And it seems like, and when that happens, you're shaking your head all night long. You know, you're just not together, and things don't work. That's what this business does to you. That's why half the people that get released in our business don't get released because they're better or worse than another ball player. It's just the lifestyle of the game, and the travel, and the buses, and everything else. And this is the time you got to fight your way through that.
You mentioned being in sync with the catcher, and I think that's something we really haven't talked about, I don't think, this season. You've got a veteran catcher in Mel Rosario. He's been all the way to the big leagues, and I'm sure that he's used to pitchers being able to do certain things. Do you think with him being a veteran catcher, while that can work as an advantage, it can also be somewhat intimidating to a young pitcher who might be reluctant to shake him off when he thinks that he has better pitch in line?
I don't think there's a question. I think, first of all, in Rosario's case, I think he has so much more on the table plus than any minuses I can come up with that it's not a question of Mel. But I think what happens with veteran catchers, let's just talk about veteran catchers in general. Veteran catchers in this league get a lot of pitchers in trouble. They're always setting outside or inside. They're never setting across the heart of the plate. They never remember two things. One, that pitcher that's out in the mound has gotten released or didn't get drafted. I'm not knocking them for that, but that's happened. Usually meaning they can't throw their best stuff where they want to. And number two, the veteran catchers in this league need to wake up once in a while and remind themselves they got released. And I think when you both realize that and you're both fighting to get back where you want to be, it works a little better. Almost every club always has one of the veteran slots as a catcher. I've always said it's a bit of a drawback because they catch just like you implied. They catch as though they're catching major league pitching or AAA pitching, which can throw their best stuff in a rough area where they want it. Not near where television shows you, but in a rough area where they want it. When they want to pitch inside, they can pitch inside. Maybe not an inch or two, but they can pitch inside or high or low. And a lot of guys here can't. But I would love to see more catchers, including mine, set up right down the heart of the plate and just, we have an expression in our business that the ball will find its own corners. And it does. And I would like to see it a little bit more that way. That's a long answer to that question.
No, it was interesting, though. When did you first become aware of the game of baseball?
I think I always enjoyed baseball as a young kid, and I've never been an athlete. I was blessed with a hell of an arm, and that got me into pro baseball and kept me there for a long time. But other than a good arm, I'm the most awkward. I never was a good hitter. Had rheumatic fever for about a year and a half, and have flat feet and no running ability, and absolutely an awkward athlete I am. If you ever see me go after an umpire, I can hardly get to him. I don't think I've ever dribbled a basketball 3 feet in my life without it hitting my foot. Just absolutely was blessed. I could throw a football and I could throw a baseball, and that's the only talent I have. But I went in service and ended up getting some recognition in the service, and that led me to a spring training camp. And then as soon as I went to spring training the first day, I found a home.
How much would a championship in Brockton mean to you, and where would that rank in your
A championship in Brockton at this point in my life would mean more to me than any championship I could ever win any place else. I am a Brockton kind of guy. I'm a neighborhood guy. I'm a blue-collar guy. I just feel so comfortable in that area, not just Brockton, the whole surrounding area. And I think that's why I think this team fits so good there. You know, this team is a Brockton kind of team. I probably, if I had to pick the one place that was special in my life in ball, it would be Brockton. I've only been here 2 years, but Brockton is one place we haven't fulfilled what I want to fulfill, and now to be in a position where we might have a shot at it is a special feeling. So I'm really looking forward to it, and we will get it done.
Be sure to click the subscribe button to follow my wild and wacky journey with the Brockton Rox, because more episodes are on the way. Thanks for watching.